Welcome back, everybody. I'm working on the Datsun truck. We're going to be doing part 2 of the 488 rear end, which is going to be cleaning, installing, maybe welding the diff. But let's go ahead and do some fun time first. I kind of did this yesterday without filming because mostly I forgot my camera. But I went ahead and put the door on this side. I got the seat is fully mounted. I made some brackets here, so I'm going to end up boxing in one of these sides just to make them a little stronger. But I ended up having to make the seat about 4.5 inches higher, and that's pretty comfortable. And then what I did was I left plenty of room here so we can get our roll bar in behind it and everything like that. And steering wheel I think is going to go up a little bit. But I did get the shifter in. This is a TCI fast gate shifter. So yeah, it's basically going to go right about there. And so we got park, and then it comes back to reverse, and then neutral, and then drive. And then what you can do is, since we have an automatic transmission, it'll probably just be in drive and let the computer do what it does. But if we want to, you can go all the way back to 1 here. And the way that makes it the fast gate is you just kind of slam it to get to the next gear. So if you're in first gear, you just second, third, drive. And that's about it. And then it locks you out of, so you can go from drive to neutral, but you can't go to reverse. So you have to, it's got the lockout for reverse. So you pull to go to reverse, and then you can go to drive. So, but yeah, that's about that. I have my helmet here, just kind of making sure all that worked out, and everything seems great. Obviously, it's really hard to get in here, but we're going to raise the steering wheel up a little bit, which will help with that, and then obviously it'll eventually have a quick disconnect, so, you know, it'll be a little easier to get in and out. But yeah, the cockpit's feeling real nice. You know, you can definitely get this here, and everything works great, and I love just slamming these gears, which is cool. I did start, I put the bracket on the transmission and everything, but the cable's not hooked up right now. We're still working on that, but you know, we'll finish that up in another video. Like I said, for today we're going to work on that rear end again. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the well, let's go over and look at that first. So there's the rear end. Here's the new perches, which we just got to weld on. I did get new lowering blocks, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and some new U-bolts here for all that good stuff. But everything's all put back together now. So as you can see, axles spin. It's obviously an open diff, so they spin the wrong way, but you know how it goes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull the gear set out of this rear end, and we're going to clean all these axle tubes up because there's still some grinding dust and stuff like that in the axle tubes, and I don't want to be grinding that stuff into my bearings and all that good stuff while we're riding this thing around. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up and get the gear set pulled out. Alright, so I got it all cleaned out. The housing is out there drying in the sun, which is being a real jerk today. I cleaned this all up, and as you can see, I spent a little extra time cleaning these gears because we got one more thing to do. We're going to weld this rear end. So I know I might get some flack for that, maybe, I don't know, but I just don't have the money to buy LSD. I couldn't source an LSD at the junkyard, so we're going to weld it. And we'll see how long it lasts. But basically what we're going to do is I cleaned all these gears up real good. I also made this plate that we're going to drop right in there. Give us a little more room to weld to. I already checked it on the other side to make sure all the C-clips still fit with the plate. Axles are still going to go in, everything like that, good to go. Basically, obviously, the only thing it means is we can't take these splitter gears out anymore. So, it's whatever. Eventually, down the line, when something breaks, then we'll figure out what to do at that point. But last thing I'm going to do is, obviously these are all cleaned up really good, but we're going to go ahead and spray them all down with the brake cleaner and then get the welding this plate in. guys, so got it all welded up. As you can see, I basically just made it one big piece all the way around, made sure I burned into the gears real good. I thought about welding up in these little corners, but what you don't want to do is leave a chunk that can possibly break off. So I didn't want to risk going in there and not getting it all connected very well, but I think that's going to be pretty strong, and like I said, we'll see how long it lasts. I think, honestly, an axle's probably going to break before this thing does, so, you know, but we'll see. I'm just going to go ahead now and just clean it up as best as I can and try to get most of the slag off, because, again, we don't want these little bits of slag coming off when we put it back in the truck and it starts spinning and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to get as much of that cleaned off. I will tell you that when I welded the diff on the 300, when Steve welded the diff on the 300, we did not prep or weld it anywhere near as good as this is. Obviously, that only has 230 horsepower. This is going to have like 500, so it's a little bit different story, but definitely did my prep on this very well, and I think it turned out great. So I'm going to go ahead and get it cleaned up, and then we'll start putting everything back together. All right, so got the rear end all put back together. Axles are in, everything's good to go, cover's sealed on, it's dried, everything like that. We're probably going to go ahead and give it a quick coat of paint, but first we got to get the purchase welded on. So, well, even before that, we got to go ahead and get this rear end ripped out, which is going to be interesting, because we have these huge blocks on here, which is always lovely. And then they welded the U-bolts onto the axle. So, yeah. But we're going to go ahead and try to get these out of here, get this rear end out, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so got the old rear end out. It wasn't too bad, but we had one little issue. As you can see, this leaf spring is off the truck, and it shouldn't be, because it's broken. So this hoop is supposed to go all the way around, and there's a bushing inside. So when I took the back off, obviously it fell off the bushing because there's nothing holding it on. So guess we're getting a new set of leaf springs. But it's not too bad. They're not super expensive. You can get them for this truck, these drop ones. So these are actually drop springs. As you can see, there's actually only 2 springs. They're not modified like that. You can actually buy them like this, and it lowers your car about 2 inches. So that's how between the 2 inches of drop there and then the humongous 5-inch blocks, we got about 7 or 8 inches of drop. So yeah, hopefully we can put the leaf spring back in for right now, just to get mock up and stuff like that, and hopefully have this thing rolling again by the end of the day. But I'm going to go ahead and get the, first I'm going to make sure that the new perches actually fit on the center pins. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the new axle in and go from there. All right, rear end is in, sort of, mocked in. Obviously nothing's welded or tacked or anything like that. There's a few issues with the way I have it set up right now, and I'm still in limbo about what we're going to do about them, but basically I reused the bottom mounts from the Datsun. The old axle was 3 inches, the new one is 3 1/4. So these holes here are actually not, they're too close. They need to be about 1/8 inch out farther, which isn't too big of a deal. I thought about just reaming them out a little bit, but right now I just have the U-bolts kind of forced in there. The other issue is these lowering blocks are a little bit too wide. So as you can see, they kind of push the U-bolts out. So, you know, that's the other issue there. You can see they're just a little bit wider than the leaf springs, or they might not be centered, which they're probably not, but they're pretty close. Either way, that's a little bit of an issue too. So if we did ream these out, we would have to ream out this side and this side just a little bit on all 4 bolts. Again, I don't think that's too big of a deal. There is like monster washers that go in the back of these, but yeah, this is about where it's going to sit now. So obviously it kind of sucks a little bit, and trust me, I'm just as upset as some of you. I know there's quite a few mini truck guys that follow me, but I could not keep the 5-inch spacers on here because they're just too much. Drag racing, there's a good chance they break, they pop out. The most anybody ever does in a drag racing application is 2 inches. I'm going to go ahead and get some wheels to put on here. That way at least we can roll the thing, and we'll see what it looks like. I mean, I can tell you, obviously it's got some let's see how tall these wheels are to center line here. Oh, so this is only about 12.5, so that would be like this is like a 25 inch tire here, and truck's got some serious rake. So you know, that's probably, I mean, obviously we gotta raise the front a little bit anyway, because again, lowered trucks, not the best for drag racing. But with the tension bar steering, without getting drop spindles, you can see that these ball joints are like super stressed right now. So we're going to end up raising the front up a couple inches anyway. Probably not quite as high as the back. I do want a little bit of rake. But yeah, that would be about a, like I said, a 24, 25 inch tall tire. All right, well, she's sitting on a new rear end. Couple things look a little different. I actually went back to the junkyard and got the mounting plates for the underneath the leaf springs from the Ford Explorer. So the bolts line up better and everything like that, and that was just obviously a no-brainer. And then I did get my brakes in today. So we got the new rotors, calipers. Yeah, they're red. We're going to paint them or something, but that's just the color they came in. So obviously brand new calipers. I put the brake line on just for, you know, shits and giggles, but you know, I don't think that's, I don't know how it's really going to go on, because obviously this doesn't work anymore, especially over there, because they hit the U-bolts where it used to be bent. But we were planning on replacing most of this anyway, because as you can see, it's pretty marred up in some spots. So we'll redo that hard line. But plus I think we can make it look prettier. But yeah, everything fits. Looks good. This rear end is actually, as far as I can tell, this rear end is actually only about an inch wider than the rear end that came off of it. So it's really didn't make much of a difference. These wheels are maybe sticking out a little bit more. It's hard to tell, but it's not much. It's hard to tell without the bed on, but it's not much. As you can see, the jack is still under it, and that is because these weld wheels that I got, first of all, they're not the ones we're going to run, because obviously they're skinny. They're not real skinny, but they're only 7-inch rims. We're going to get like some good 10-inch rims, but I picked these up for really cheap, and it just basically kind of gave me an idea of what this whole thing's going to look up and gave me something to roll it around on. But the problem is the wheel studs aren't long enough. So I ordered some longer wheel studs, which I figured we were going to need anyway. And then, obviously, like I said, it gave me a good idea of what size rim and back spacing we need to order. So these are 14s. The calipers do fit in the 14s, but they're super close. So some 15-inch rims will definitely be a little bit better. And also, we can look at the backspace and offset and everything like that. Like I said, I believe these are 7-inch rims. I haven't actually measured them, but that's what I was told. And as you can see, we got plenty of room this way to go a little bit more. So these are 7-inch rims with 4 or 4.5-inch backspacing. I don't remember exactly, but you know, we can obviously go to a good, you know, 5.5, 6.5, 7-inch backspacing, get some more meat, you know, back here in this area. And then obviously if they stick out a little more, I won't be upset about that. It'll just look cooler anyway. We'll probably put some over fenders on it or whatever. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Everything turned out fabulous. It's sitting in there right now, aside from obviously our broken leaf spring, which, yeah, we're going to have to deal with. I haven't looked at the pinion angle or anything like that. I kind of just got it set up to about what it's going to need to be. It's probably going to need to tilt up a little bit more, but we'll measure all that and get that all lined up. And then obviously we got to get perches welded on still. But, yeah, we made good progress today. And I don't know if this is going to be the end of this video or not. I'm trying to have something, you know, to put out for you guys this week. So we did get a lot done today. I don't know how long the video is going to be. It might have to wait another week or whatever. But if this is the end of the video, yeah, I mean, it's in. We just got to weld it up, paint it up, and we'll be good to go. Yes, I keep telling myself, it's so crazy. Nissan Datsun truck, Chevy motor, Ford rear end. So we have pieces from 3 different car manufacturers and several different cars. You know, we got a Silverado engine, a transmission out of a Chevy Express van. We got the rear end out of a Ford Explorer. And, yeah, we got some wild stuff going on. But I'll tell you what, man. Every time I see this thing, I just get more and more excited because this thing is going to be a total beast. And I cannot wait to put rubber down on the road in this fucking truck. If this thing doesn't run 10s, I'm going to be really upset, like 10s right off the bat. I'm going to be a little butthurt, but I mean, it's definitely getting there. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes as far as if this is the end of this video or not, but if it is, like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.